contain my excitement.
Let it out.
You drove all the way from Tulsa to spend
Yes.
some time here with me,
Yes.
and I'm so grateful to be in the presence of such a genius, such
It's
a mindful
okay.
woman.
Here we are.
We are here.
Look.
We're definitely here.
It's reciprocated. I'm super excited to be here. I was like, you told me that I was in your idea, and I was like, let's do it. Let's have a conversation.
Absolutely. And
I
the
love our
reason why I
conversations.
wanted to talk to you is just because I feel like you deal with uncertainty so well.
That's
You're like,
interesting. I
you're like,
do.
that's crazy you think that.
That's crazy you
You're like,
think
because
that.
I don't think that about myself.
Right.
And I think it's really
Exactly.
interesting that oftentimes we don't think that we actually handle uncertainty so well, but the way that people actually perceive us is the
Completely different, right?
It's completely different. And I'll be really honest with you, it just hit me right here, right now about uncertainty is that something that I've been dealing with, not only with COVID and quarantine, but this year a little bit,
2020.
in 2020, really a lot of 2019. The past 3 years is just postgraduate, being, home from school and everything, is feeling like a stranger or being around people who have known me my entire life, but not noticing that I've changed right in front of them. It makes you feel like a stranger.
It does make you feel like a stranger, but that's also a conversation about circles, right?
Yeah.
About like everyone being like making that conscious decision to be like, are these people lifting me? Can I trust them? If I had an issue happening in my life, could I come talk to them? Because some people, like, you're right in front of their face, so they're not always going to be like, oh, he's a direct change, but you haven't seen me in months, and it's different, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's kind of like looking in the mirror when you're losing weight, right? You don't see it,
Exactly.
but the person across from you is like, hey,
Oh, look at you! You kind of getting big.
where'd you
Like,
go?
exactly. Yeah,
Where did
exactly.
you? Yeah.
It's really like that. And when I really think about uncertainty, one of the things I've noticed in my life is that my circle, right? Not the close knit guys, because I have my guys
That's
that
a
are
thing.
those are my boys.
That's a thing.
But oftentimes
Never ending.
people will push their uncertainties on you. It's like those trauma bonds that
Yes.
people talk about.
Yes.
And I've been trying to understand how to deal with it. I don't know if
it's
you've dealt with
weird,
that.
right?
It's extremely weird.
Completely have dealt with it.
Yeah.
I'm 24, so of course I've dealt with it, right? I don't think I knew even half of what I was doing until like recently, and I still, don't even, with all of 2020 and our problems going on. It's a lot to take on. We have so much. I think we have so much intention to be focused, but when we actually go to be focused, we're still so stimulated and so pulled in every which direction. Which is, I don't know, right?
That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, that was the biggest IDK moment ever,
Right.
And I
And
think
you get
we've
stuck.
had that talk before multiple
Yes.
times, that when you hit that moment when you're stuck, you're faced with action or just straight up
Or just repeat of history, right?
repeat of history. But it's like, I'm either going to take action or I'm just going to be extremely uncertain, and it's going to be a big, I don't know moment.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really great point.
Thank the wine.
Thank you.
Thank the
Vino.
wine. Like, literally, thank the wine.
Well, I think that's, I mean, it even comes, since you're talking about wellness, it being in an I don't know phase, I think it like, I don't know triggers trauma, right? So everything that you're saying I don't know towards, you're just deciding not to make a decision.
Yeah, you're
So
avoiding, you're escaping it.
completely.
Yeah, you're
And you're
escaping
picking these old habits that aren't gonna do anything for you because they've done nothing for you thus far, right? So I was gonna say with wellness, even like I've been trying to kind of rethink nutrition, how I, perceive nutrition. I was raised, we're emotional eaters, right? So if we're happy, let's get some food. If you're
Get some ice
sad,
cream.
like, do you want to eat it? Like, are you hungry?
Yeah, you want to like go to eat?
It's the first thing my grandma would ask and I was raised by her essentially. So every time I'm in the house, are you hungry?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I am.
That's
actually,
old school right there. Like, well, let me get you some food.
So what that taught me, this strange lesson, right, around food, which I don't want to use anymore, right? So since we're talking about I don't know, I came into a place of like, whenever I would feel like bored, I would notice I would think I was hungry. Like that would be my go-to. So whenever now, where I'm like, okay, what do I not know? what do I do in this moment when I don't know if I'm hungry or if I'm just like
Facts.
doing something in my head?
Yeah.
So where that comes through is like, are you even in your head? Right? So we've been talking about mindful meditation. That's a point of the process where I'm like, I could have a snack right now.
You could.
I could have a snack right now.
Yeah.
That's not gonna hurt anybody.
Because you're in control.
Because I'm in control.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing to make this decision. But is this gonna be like, food is nutrition? Am I going to be going backwards? Or am I going to pick a snack, even if I'm not hungry, that would allow me to go forward?
Yeah, I love that. And kind of what I'm hearing from you with the whole nutrition topic is like, me, you know, I'm kind of into juicing and
Yes,
stuff
it's
like
great.
that. Yeah. And it's like,
Skin
hey,
popping.
what I do know is that this is good for me.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
This is a fruitful decision.
Yeah, so like
literally.
just saying like, hey, I don't know about nutrition, which a lot of people do, like, I just don't really know about what to eat, you
Right.
know? Or I don't really know people who just kind of want to get into like herbs and stuff like that. They like, I don't really know about this. So that I don't know leads them to still making the bad habits of, it sure did just hit 11 o'clock and Whataburger is starting to serve breakfast.
And I'm on the way.
And I'm headed there right now because they
Spicy
don't know,
ketchup.
right?
Right.
But it's like, you know, that's not bad, that it is bad for you, you know?
Well,
Exactly.
instead of taking the opportunity to be like, what inside of me is deciding to do this right now? Like, is there something that I need to talk about with myself? Is there something that like triggered me today and like now I'm taking it out on food because I think food makes me happy?
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's just really like when we don't know, coming into a place where we can have a conversation with ourselves, right? And
That-
actually doing that.
That's so big because you're just like saying, you know, having like a conversation with yourself. And I've been not only having conversations with myself, but I've been sitting with myself.
Right.
And I haven't had to sit with myself in so long. And a lot of people
It's a
really
weird
know me.
place
I'm
to
naturally
be.
an introvert. I'm naturally an
Yes.
introvert. I'm very shy and I'm very to myself, and it's so crazy because as
Which
soon
is
as
so weird,
as
yeah.
soon as Cameron gets on, I'm like,
I know. It's like a,
But during quarantine, I've had to face my 16, 17-year-old self of
yes,
just being,
weird place.
just being in this weird place. And unfortunately, this is so weird saying out loud, but I've just had to get comfortable with saying it.
Interesting.
But I realized I don't know myself.
Sure.
So that I
Does
don't know,
anybody know?
that I don't know was the biggest thing for me because I was like, the first thing I realized when quarantine hit, we were about 3-4 weeks in, I said, I have no hobbies. Like, Kyrie, what do you do with your life? Like, everyone's like, yeah, you just seem like you work and you do all of
Hang
those
out.
things. And I'm like, I'm not defined by what I do.
Sure.
I am not what I do.
Right.
Like, yes, I work very hard, but that's not who I am. Like, when I go home and it's not work or it's not school or it's not working out,
What are you doing?
I realize I'm not doing anything. I don't
Sure.
have a life. But you know, music means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So one of my first
JT.
unwise decisions over quarantine was to buy a DJ board because I was like, you know what? This music is who I am. That is
Yes.
something that
You connect with.
I connect with
Yeah.
deeply, you know? Like I have literally only artists for my tattoos. But when I got that board, I started understanding myself like, Kyrie, this is who you are. This is exactly who you are. And I've been creating in different ways and learning more about myself.
Because you. Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's
Well,
totally
ooh.
fine. How about we just cheers to
Yeah,
that?
we can.
You know, that's
Yep.
the best way to
That's
do it,
a good
honestly,
time to do
sometimes. Yep. Yeah.
Cheers to I don't know, because I think it's a really good opportunity to sit down, right? And to be like, I really don't know, but I'm gonna allow myself to be in this space, and where my body takes it is probably what is my truth, right? So you made the decision to be like, I know music means something to me, to my soul, to my mind. Let me just like play with it,
Yeah.
right? I'm
Let
just
me
gonna kind
freak
of
it real
dabble.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dabble.
let me
Exactly,
figure it
dabble.
out. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine, but it'll allow me to open a new door, right? So when we use I don't know negatively, all you're doing is just like sitting in this corner of yourself. Like you even asking the question, what are my hobbies?
Yeah.
And then you figured out, well, what do I like? Okay, what do I like? I'm gonna make this unwise Corona decision to buy a DJ board.
It was on Amazon too.
That's good.
It was
That's
really,
good.
it was really good.
You
Exactly.
didn't get it on sale?
No, I didn't get it on sale, but it was a part of my list, and it wasn't the algorithm that told me. It was the first time that I actually knew.
You
know,
had it on your wish list for a long time.
because I knew. Yeah, I knew all the time. It was always on my list. It wasn't like something that was advertised to me, because if it's advertised to me, that's something that they're deciding.
360.
It absolutely is. And I think the biggest takeaway from I don't know is that if you don't know, that's okay.
It's fine.
It's okay.
You're gonna figure it out.
You know something, and you can't let anyone else determine that for you.
Well, and that allows you, that's you saying, I want better.
I want better.
I want better. And we were talking about the word deserve earlier, right? Using that word in a healthy space.
Yeah.
So, you know, like using that word where it means like gaining value. You know, not that you're meaning it in a selfish term, like I deserve this and I deserve that, because it's all material, right?
Yeah,
So
it all goes anyway.
It all goes anyway. So I think like I don't know, when you, in certain situations you bring it to, it is adding value. It is adding value. You're allowing yourself to question, like, is this right for me? Am I doing the right thing? Could I be doing something different? And why am I not? You know, why am I not doing that? So then when you get to have that conversation with yourself, you get to what you would call peel back the onion.
Yeah.
Right? So you get to see yourself for what you have experienced, and that doesn't mean that's you. Right?
Yeah, that's good.
I need to go heal where I just peeled back. So if that means healing a relationship with your parents or something that you saw from your parents, what's the best way? Because that's where we all get it from, right? It's just seeing what we saw, right? So when we go back and we're like, there's a way that this can be healed because I have enough faith to make sure it'll be seen through, right?
I had one of those conversations early on with quarantine, and it was actually with my mother. And a lot of people know me and my mother have such a good relationship, but
It's cute.
looking back at everything with how she raised us just as a single parent, I had to come to an uncomfortable conclusion. And what it was that she was working so hard and set such tough expectations on me.
Sure. You're oldest too.
Yeah.
Lucky
And
you.
kind of what I realized is that there is always this pressure, like you need to be better than this. You need to be better than this. You need to be better than this. And
But like no tools to get there?
No, what it created in my head was that I always needed to prove something, right? And I noticed recently in the last year what shifted is that I got to this age or this maturity, and I cried in front of my mom, and I was like, I looked at it and I was like, Mom, this is the first time you've ever believed in me. Like this is the first time you've ever
That you felt that though.
I've ever like that she and she didn't mean to. She's just like, oh, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this. Like I reached extremely high levels at Sprint, and my mom didn't think that's what I should have been doing.
The whole time.
The whole time she thought I should have walked away. She didn't. It wasn't. She was like, "Oh, that's nice," but she really didn't think.
Connect that for you.
Yeah, and that's what I had to go back and heal that, and I had to realize that this like discourse inside of my heart that I have to prove myself and to be this thing
Right.
was really because I just had a hard-working woman at home, and she didn't mean to do it, but I get into these roles of just like not feeling fulfilled, or like people expecting me just because of the things I've hit, expecting me to like not need the praise or not needing to be celebrated because it's
Right.
like we expect this from you.
Right.
Like, yeah,
You've
you
already
always
done
do
all
great.
of
Yeah,
this.
like, no, we expect you
Yeah.
to.
What's
Oh,
next?
another promotion.
Right.
Cool. And
knew
it's
you
like,
would.
but I realized that I was missing that from the one person
Right.
that I've been trying to make happy or to make proud this
Right.
whole time. So
Just
it's my
because
mom.
you were
It's my
proving
mom.
yourself.
Yeah, it's like I've been trying to prove myself right to you this entire time.
Right.
You know, so but that was something I had to go back to heal, because I started realizing my uncertainty was in that. I was never certain in that I was actually making the one that I did it for proud. But now my mom's looking at me, and it's like she believes in me. Like I say I'm doing something, and she's like,
She believes
oh, you believe me? I don't have to prove to you this. Like, oh, I'm invincible now.
That's
like,
awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's different. It's
Yeah.
different. But I feel like a lot of those situations are gonna hit us way, way, way more soon.
I think so if you ask yourself, if you're not using why as a victim mentality, I think a good question to ask is like, how can I make the best of this situation? So a situation I was in the other night with a group of women, I like hate negative Nancy. I don't like her. So she like really triggers me, and I'm like well, I'll just leave type of person.
Oh,
You know?
But was that not negative Nancy though?
Yeah, and that's where I got with it.
Okay,
That's where
cool,
I got
cool,
with it.
cool.
So
I was like, wait.
No, yeah. So I was like noticing these things coming out in me when I was experiencing that. And I went inside and probably poured a drink or something and like came back outside with that question of like, how can I make this situation better? How can I just simply make this situation better? Like, anytime I get the chance to speak, can I say something positive? Or can I say something like comical? Can I try to change the subject? Because you don't want to, there are serious conversations to be had, right? So you don't want to negate that, because we were talking about the experiences of 2020. We were talking about everything that's going on in the world right now.
Just overall, just the chaos.
Complete. So we were, and you don't want to like duck from those conversations because they need to be had. But there's certain, I think, tone is a really good thing. Like when you're in I don't know, how is your self-tone for one? How is your outward tone? Are you faking it? Like, are you actually in your head like negative Nancy, but on the outside you're like this bubbly person who's just lying about everything, about how they really feel? So that's where I was like, in that moment, I was like, I'm gonna give her the opportunity because she might have had a really triggering situation happen, and I'm not gonna take that away from her.
Right.
But anytime that I get the chance to have the chair or have the mic,
yes,
I'm gonna be able to lift her or something else in a positive manner. And I think in I don't know and in uncertainty, that's where like why I said tone.
Tone, yeah. I've been learning about tone, and I personally have to do it because I'm such a how do we say it, like energetic kind of person.
Setter?
Yeah, I just come in and I'm like, hey,
let's get it going.
Let's get it going. But you know, I want us to kind of wrap up with this right here, and I really want to just make sure that I share this with you. I feel like what you just displayed right there is leadership in one of its most pure forms. It's leadership. And right now with what's going on in the world, whether it's the pandemic, racial injustice, we need leaders. We need people that are willing to step up and do the things that are challenging. One of the things that I think are the most challenging right now in our life is remaining centered amid the chaos. And I think that's the biggest challenge. Right now, the biggest challenge in life is remaining centered amid the chaos. And honestly, with all of that being said, I really just want to thank you for sitting down, drinking some wine with me. I know it was a long drive, but of course. We need to do this again.
Yes.
Like, definitely again.
Yes.
Hopefully under better circumstances, right?
Not 2020 circumstances.
Not 2020 circumstances, but thank you for just sharing this with me. I learned so much, and I have so much more work to do. But I thank you for being here on the journey with me and doing it. So should we like cheers or something like that?
I don't know.
Something like that. Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks, Kyrie.